My daughter-in-law screamed. "You're nothing but a burden." In front of the whole family. I stood up, took my coat, and left. I never came back. 3 weeks later they were evicted. Family story. I still hear her voice sometimes when the house gets too quiet. That sharp, high pitch she used when she wanted everyone to stop talking and look at her. We were all sitting around the big oak table in the dining room of the house on Maple Ridge Road, the same house my late husband Frank and I bought in 1989. Turkey, stuffing, the good china I had brought over when I moved in 3 years earlier. My son Derek at the head of the table, his wife Vanessa across from me, their 2 teenagers scrolling on their phones until the yelling started, and my younger sister Carol who had driven up from Ohio for the holiday. It started over gravy. Vanessa had made some fancy version with rosemary and red wine. I reached for the regular pan gravy I always made the way Frank liked it. She looked at my hand like I had touched something dirty. "Could you not?" she said, loud enough that the kids finally looked up. "We're trying to have a nice meal without your old habits." I set the ladle down. I did not raise my voice. I never did in that house. I only made a little of the regular, in case anyone preferred it. That was all it took. She stood up so fast her chair scraped the floor. Her face went red the way it did when the HOA sent another letter about the front hedge. "You're nothing but a burden," she screamed. "You live here rent-free, you take up the guest room that could be an office, you leave your pills on the counter, you act like this is still your house. It's not. It's ours. And every single day you sit here like we owe you something." Derek said her name once, soft, the way he used to when he was a boy and wanted me to stop arguing with his father. The kids stared at their plates. Carol's mouth opened and closed. I felt every pair of eyes on me the way you feel cold air when a door opens in winter. I looked at my son. He did not meet my eyes. He looked at the tablecloth instead. I stood up. The room went quiet except for the low hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. I walked to the coat rack by the front door, the same one Frank had hung every winter. I took my gray wool coat, the one with the missing button I kept meaning to sew back on. I put it on slowly. Nobody said a word. I opened the door. The November air hit my face. I stepped onto the porch, closed the door behind me, and walked down the driveway to my old Buick. I did not go back inside for my purse or my medications or the photo albums. I had my keys in my pocket and $23 in the glove box. That was enough for gas to Carol's place if I drove careful. I never came back. Carol let me stay in her spare room in a little brick ranch outside Dayton. She did not ask many questions the first week. She just put clean sheets on the bed and made coffee every morning the way I like it, strong and black. I called Derek once on the second day. He answered on the 4th ring. "Mom, where are you?" "Vanessa's upset. The kids are asking." "I'm with your aunt." "I'm not coming back." There was a long pause. "You can't just leave like that. People saw. The neighbors saw your car leave." "I can." I did. He started to say something about Thanksgiving leftovers and how Vanessa did not mean it the way it sounded. I hung up. I did not answer the next 3 calls. After that the call stopped. The first week I mostly slept and walked Carol's little dog around the block. The second week I found a part-time job at the library 3 towns over, shelving books and helping older folks with the computers. It paid almost nothing, but it got me out of the house and gave me something to do with my hands. I started sleeping better. I stopped jumping every time a car slowed in front of the house. On the 21st day after I left, Carol came into the kitchen while I was making toast. She held her phone out. "Derek just texted me. You need to see this." I took the phone. The message was short. "Landlord changed the locks this morning. We're out. Vanessa is losing it. Can you talk to Mom?" I handed the phone back. Carol watched my face. "You knew this might happen," she said. I nodded. I had known since the day I moved into that house that the numbers did not add up. Derek's job at the regional bank had been cut back 2 years earlier. Vanessa's online boutique never quite turned the profit she claimed. The mortgage was still in my name and Frank's name because the refinance they talked about never happened. Every month I had been covering the shortfall from my Social Security and the small pension. I never told them the exact amount. I just transferred the money and kept quiet. When I left, the transfer stopped. 3 weeks without that money was enough. The bank sent the final notice. The property management company that held the note moved fast. By the time Derek called Carol, the sheriff's office had already posted the notice and the locks were changed. Their furniture, the kids' clothes, Vanessa's inventory boxes, everything was sitting on the front lawn under blue tarps while the neighbors watched from their driveways. Carol offered to drive me down there. I said no. I did not want to stand on that street again. I did not want to see the oak tree Frank and I planted the year Derek was born. I did not want to watch Vanessa scream at the movers or watch my son try to explain to the teenagers why their rooms were gone. Derek called me that night from a motel off the interstate. His voice was thin. Mom, we need help. Just for a little while. The kids. I left my coat and my life in that house, I told him. I'm not coming back to fix what I already walked away from. He started to cry then. I had not heard him cry since he was 12 and broke his arm falling out of that same oak tree. I listened until he quieted down. Then I said I hoped the kids were warm and that I loved them. I did not say I loved him. The words would not come out clean. I stayed in Dayton. Carol's house was small but quiet. I kept the library job. In the spring I found a 1-bedroom apartment near the senior center and moved my few things in. I bought a new coat. I learned the names of the people who sat on the same bench as I did in the afternoons. Sometimes one of them would ask about family. I would say I had a son and 2 grandchildren and leave it at that. Derek sent a Christmas card the following year with a photo of the 4 of them in front of a smaller house in another town. Vanessa was smiling in the picture the way people smile when the camera is on. The kids looked older. There was no return address. I put the card in a drawer and did not answer it. Some nights I still think about the sound of her voice at that table. The way the gravy boat sat between us while she yelled. The way nobody stood up with me. I do not regret walking out. I only regret that it took me so long to put the coat on and open the door.